So the teams went to Hawaii last year, so you guys got here maybe 1 year too late from a certain point of view, depending on how much you like going to Hawaii. But winter training at home, sometimes at least John Klinge is very much a fan of it being at home. He feels like you get maybe more accomplished. Did it help that winter training was at home for your first years, that maybe you got to know the team a little bit better at the same time?
Well, it's always different. I mean, if you change time zones on a team travel, it takes time to recover from that. So we have the benefit of not having to recover from travel. And then I feel like I think the biggest part of holiday training would be to become a better team. Not only just work hard in the water. We really didn't change a whole lot in terms of what we're doing in the water, but I think the biggest thing that our team did was they got closer through this experience. So if you could do that anywhere, you're going to have a pretty good year.
Molly, where do you fall in that spectrum? Are you a travel fan like me that would love to go somewhere ever you if possible?
I'm pretty easygoing. I think similar to Brian, like they just need to be together. And when you're working hard and you have time to sleep, eat, swim, lift, and just do that, it really doesn't matter where you are. But I do actually I did like being here too, because I was so new to everything. I think it allowed us, there was no rush, there was no get this, let's go. We were here, we got done what we needed to do, and it was easy to recover. You're in your own bed, so I appreciated that for them on an athlete standpoint for sure.
Both of you have had coaching experience. Molly, you most recently at Manhattan, and then you at Notre Dame. And Brian, I know when you were the head coach of the women at Notre Dame, you brought a group of the Irish down here to practice with the Purdue women. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Yeah, I think it was in 2012. And I think it happened quickly, which usually is the case with me. I reached out to John postseason after the NCAAs and asked about, because they had a May meet, and if we could come the week of the May meet and spend time with them and learn from each other. And we brought probably about 10 girls down, and we trained together the week of. It was just kind of I don't want to say spur of the moment, but it was just an idea that was easy to do because we were so close.
Molly, as someone who's in the first decade of their career as a coach, how did you learn from being a head coach that can help you going forward?
I definitely learned a lot about all the little pieces that go into a program, and I think coming here, you're so thankful for the support and resources that we have, and being the head coach, it's a whole different pressure, and I can, my job is to support John and figure out what he needs, and he's been an amazing leader, so now I'm going to learn a little bit more about what that position would be like, and then eventually if I return to that, I have so much more knowledge from both, kind of getting in there and then also watching someone who's elite at it. I mean, all three of these coaches have been head coaches at great programs, so just like taking it all in.
Brian, during your time at Notre Dame, Emma Reaney broke through for the Fighting Irish, and I believe it was the first women's national title in swimming and diving that Notre Dame had won. That had to be real rewarding for you to coach a national champion.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of planning that went into that, and a lot of confidence building, and it was a really fun experience. I think it was one of those things that, if you were up close to the program, you kind of saw it coming, but I think it was a bit of a surprise for the rest of the country, and it was great to be a part of.
During your time at Minnesota as an assistant coach, you saw people win Big Ten titles. I'm sure same thing kind of happened for your teammates, I imagine, when you were a student athlete there. Can you kind of compare and contrast what that's like on both sides of it?
Yeah, I think, watching national champions that you've somewhat been a part of either their development or worked with them as a teammate. That process it's challenging, it's grueling, but it's fun. And I think that's why we do what we do, is because we get to see that. And, not everyone's going to be a national champion, but you get to work with athletes, especially here, that want to be great. And I like both sides. I think, being an athlete was amazing. That's part of why I'm a coach. But I love being a coach because these women that I'm working with, they want to be great. And I'm like, how can I help you? What can I do? And I want to get better too. So you're kind of all in it together. And I love that, and it's been so fun. I think of Brian on deck. Like, watching Brian on deck is amazing. He just cares, and every little thing is so important. And I love that. So yeah.
Got about a little bit over a month to go before Big Ten's second week of classes for a new semester, coming off winter training. What's the feeling right now for most student athletes at this point of the season?
Well, it's January, so I always call it January's long. It's the longest, it's 31 days, right? So there's a little bit of patience that has to happen through January. So there is an itch that's happening right now to dial into championship season. We keep teaching patience, and we keep talking about fast swimming, both at the Big Tens and the NCAAs, and we're close, but we're not ready to let them out of their cage yet. So we're almost there.
Not for swimming reasons, but kind of the same things you mentioned, Brian. January is actually my least favorite month because of it's cold and it's long, and there's not a whole lot of end in sight. February at least is short, and March comes afterwards. So I kind of feel what you're getting at on some of that stuff. Molly, to close things out here, what would you highlight about the way you felt maybe in January as a student athlete, now you look at it as a coach?
I think similar to what Brian said. It's just like sticking to the plan the next 2 weeks. Everything that John's outlined, just sticking to it and being confident in it is so important right now. But it's hard because you're not on winter training. You're back in school. You're still getting your butt kicked, but you're not quite. The light is near, but it's I think it's one of the most challenging parts of the season. But I think this is also the 2 weeks that separates, the good from the great. So.
Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time to join me for Behind the Blocks. We wish you all the best of luck this season, and it's great to have both Brian Barnes and Molly Belk here as assistant coaches at Purdue.